It is transfer deadline day. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. Will there be any incomings? Will there be any outgoings? That is what we're going to discuss on this show today. Phil is joining me. Phil, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
Not bad.
Good.
Not bad at all. I've got the yellow tie on. See, if you come over from the West Ham Network, you will be very impressed with what I've done because I was wearing a Wembley 1980 shirt. I managed to come from upstairs, downstairs, set all this up, set the camera up, get my laptop plugged in, and all be here on time. I'm here on time. Hope you are all well. Hit the like button as you're coming in and get your thoughts in. We've got a few players to discuss, actually. I did think this was going to be quite a sort of quiet deadline day, but we're still sort of in that period where we don't know whether things are going to fall through, things are going to push on, and quite frankly, all of our reputable sources are saying different things at the moment. So quite frankly, anything could happen. Phil, you said to me before we came on, I wouldn't expect any incomings to come in, and I think that's the general consensus of the fan base. And if anything does happen tonight, I would be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you get certain seasons when we do make a bit of business on deadline day, but I think it's hard because I think we've been used to it the last couple of years where we've not really had many people coming in, especially on the last day. But it's always nice to see a few extra faces come in. But we'll see if we have got any deals properly lined up. It'd be interesting to see if they go through on time because obviously different times around Europe are going to be closing their window.
Yeah.
So it's all about getting the paperwork in.
So we've got a few things to talk about. So we're going to talk about Hugo Ekitike, Ian Maatsen, Kostic, and a couple of other players. But first, we're going to start with an interesting story that arose just as the Europa League draw was taking place a little bit earlier on. And it's about a player called Andy Irving. So X has put an update on Twitter. He has said, as covered on our Patreon for the last few hours, the signing of Andy Irving from Austrian side SK Austria Klagenfurt is the start of an affiliate agreement agreed with Tim Steidten. Irving has already returned back to the club on loan with an agreement. It will be a long-term partnership where we can loan players to them and have first rights on their young stars. The agreement can't be officially announced as a few things yet to be finalised. Now, I discussed this a little bit earlier. This is interesting. So we've got an agreement now, an affiliation in place with this side in Austria. And to get the ball rolling to an extent, we had to do this loan thing, sign this player, but then loan him back to the club he was already at, to begin an affiliation process where we can take their players and I don't know if we can loan players to them. And it's all done by Tim Steidten. This would never have happened if Tim Steidten wasn't at the football club. Don't get me wrong, we may never hear of this affiliation ever again, Phil. But it's one to keep an eye on.
It is. I remember a few years ago we had an affiliation. I think it was VVV Venlo from the Eredivisie. I remember us loaning a couple of under-23s over there, and then I'm assuming that's just stopped because no one really spoke about it. But yeah, it's always nice to have an affiliation with a team. I know certain teams have like affiliations, whether it's owners who own two clubs, like Watford and Udinese, or Man City with their teams, or the Red Bull teams as well. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, and it could be a good way of getting players to get some European experience out there. But see what goes with that.
Yes, and I think it's a process that's probably taken Tim Steidten a bit of time, and we've never heard of this football club in our lives, if we're being honest with you. But this could, as I said, peter out into nothing, and we may never hear of this ever again, or it could provide us with the next gem of the Premier League. So, I mean, it is what it is. Look, it's not something that we're all going to be screaming and shouting about on deadline day, but it's an interesting piece of business that I believe we would have never done without the experience, the ability and skill of our technical director, Tim Steidten, who has certainly been busy over the last couple of months. Will he be busy in the remainder of today? We will wait and see. I don't know whether it's more of a mental thing with me, Phil, but I think if we weren't playing later, I could see us doing more, because Moyes mentioned it in his pre-match press conference or in some interview he did, saying it's going to be difficult because it's widely reported there's a few players that could leave the club today, but then Moyes doesn't know whether to name them on his bench or not because they might be leaving. It's a bit of a logistical nightmare in that sense, but I feel if we weren't playing today, I think probably more would get done.
Yeah, I agree on that one. I think a lot of people are wondering why, or at least why is there a football game on tonight, knowing that this is deadline day. It's a bit silly, really. But I think if there are certain players who you'd normally see in the starting 11 or on the bench, if they're not in the squad at all tonight, then 9 times out of 10, they're probably going to be on their way out. So you can probably judge it by that, really.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Let's take some comments too. We've got in. I hope everybody watching as well. Afternoon to everyone. Quick change. We see Michael was over on the West Ham Network. Michael knows what I've just done in the last 7 minutes between ending that and being here with Phil. It was a stressful 7 minutes, but I'm here. I've got my yellow tie on, proper Jim White style, and I'm here to bring you the deadline day show. Right then, Ashley says, who is going to be on the bench tonight if some players leaving? That's what we've just discussed, Ashley. I think, as Phil said, I think a good indicator. Phil will join me later for the build-up show, so we will return to this instance on the build-up show at 6:45 tonight when we receive that lineup at 7 ahead of our game against Luton. Is there any recognisable names, Cornet, Ings, not on the bench tonight, which could signify something's going to happen in the remaining hours of the transfer window? Alison says, when we see who is on the bench tonight, it will get. Yeah, there we go. See, I've just said that. I didn't even read my comments. I didn't read that, but I agree, Alison. Amy says, Jakey changing into the Sky Sports attire. I've done it. Right, let's scroll down some of these comments. Peter says, good afternoon, Jake. Don't forget that one. It's not my school shirt. This is
not anymore.
Not anymore. I don't need a school shirt anymore. This is a next Oxford shirt. This is. See, I'm moving up in the world. There is under 8 hours left. There's 7 hours and 52 minutes remaining. I'm on Sky Sports, right, and they haven't even got what's going on? They've changed the sort of way they do things. There isn't even a timer. There's not even a countdown timer to signify how long's left of the transfer window. Honestly, Sky Sports are lacking. They are.
It's going downhill.
Lacking. It is going downhill. It's going downhill. Yeah, under 21s are playing tonight as well. They've got so much going on today. Absolutely so much. Won't mention the former number 11 either, Jake. No, we will not be talking about Jesse Lingard on this show. That is for sure. Daniel, thanks for joining us. He says, I feel every time I think we will push on, we don't. We really need to strike and get Hugo in on loan as a loan option to buy. So let's talk about that. Before I come to Daniel's comment, just in from a football correspondent of the Standard Sport, this has been a breaking news. Crystal Palace have made a loan offer with a 26 million option to buy for PSG forward Hugo Ekitike. So it's not just West Ham. They are not the only Premier League club interested in Hugo Ekitike's signature today. Crystal Palace have lodged, according to a journalist from the Standard, they've lodged a loan offer with 26 million option to buy. We're not alone in this race, and if we want to get this deal done, if we've got any hope of getting it done, Hugo Ekitike, Phil, we need to hurry up about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's see, we can offer a lot more than Crystal Palace can. He can probably get more guaranteed first team football there as a guaranteed starter, because they're Palace are another club. They always seem to, they buy strikers, but they always seem to lack goals a lot. I know they got Jordan Hughes, all right, and that Edouard, but they're not as prolific. So if we really are that interested in him, then we got to up the ante, really. And then even if we match what Crystal Palace do, it'll probably be down to how much we offer, and it'll be down to the player what he wants to do, because we can provide European football as well.
I think Michael says we've got 2 loan spots left because we've got a pretty much full squad. We can't really have too many more players added to it, otherwise players have to be left out of squads for European competitions, etc. etc. We've got 2 loan options. Maatsen and Ekitike makes this a 10 out of 10 window, but there's interest we're going to have to fend off. But as Phil, you just said, we've got the pull factor over Crystal Palace. I think that's no disrespect to Crystal Palace, they're a great football club, but realistically, if Hugo Ekitike is sat there now thinking, who do I want to sign for, Crystal Palace or West Ham, it's been widely reported from various French sources, not only just from one organisation. There's been from French football news, from RMC. There's been loads of French outlets reporting that Hugo Ekitike has rejected Frankfurt and he wants to sign for West Ham. And if that is the case, we don't know. If that is the case, then Tim Steidten better be on that jet and let's bring him back, because I think it's a great opportunity, Phil.
Yeah, it is. Get on that jet, mate, because I don't think Eurostar's running.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
There is. Just before you go, Phil, sorry. Somebody just put on Twitter that somebody's on flight tracker this afternoon. A private jet has just left from Stansted. Will Tim Steidten be on it? Probably not.
The funny thing is, I was dealing with Stansted Express trains earlier today at work, so who knows, I might have helped him on. So I might have an input in that deal. But yeah, hopefully, if he's over there, get the deal done, bring him over, and that'll be, providing we win against Luton tonight, that might top the evening off very well.
Yeah. Oh, massively. I think most people are saying this window at the moment is about 8 out of 10. And then 2 more players of the quality maybe of Maatsen and Ekitike could really bolster this window up for the first time in a while to a 9.5 out or 10 out of 10 transfer window, which we haven't said for a long time. And Daniel makes a good point there that every time we feel like we could push on, we've had an opportunity here to sign those maybe 1 or 2 players to completely finish off this squad ahead of the season. And maybe we're lacking little bit, which I hope doesn't come back to bite us on the backside with Antonio. Isn't going to play the way he has been playing all season. Danny Ings right off. Is he going to play Mubama? So I think a striker option is more of a priority here, because we have 2 solid left back options currently. So for me, I think the striker is probably the priority, and hopefully over the next hour we can get a better indication to whether this deal has got any legs and to whether there's any seriousness of West Ham completing this deal, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, yeah, Antonio, he's getting on a bit. Ings as well. He's not a spring chicken anymore, and he's unfortunately seems like he don't seem to fit our system, which is it is a shame. Mubama as well. I think we all would like him to get some games, but the realistic is he probably won't. So it'd be probably good to get that extra striker in. And did you say how old he was, Ekitike?
I don't think he's very old. Ekitike. Hugo Ekitike is I don't know. It doesn't say. He was born in 2002. So somebody can do the maths. He's age 21.
21, yeah.
Yeah. So he's 21 years of age. And if I'm going to say one thing about Ekitike, it's a player that we've been linked with consistently over the last couple of years. For the last 3 or 4 transfer windows, his name has always cropped up.
Yeah.
And he's only 21 now. So I've got a feeling that it may not just be Steidten that's pushing this. It may be other people in the club that have looked at him previously. And hopefully now we're going to really go for it and get this deal done. He's only 21 years of age.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of years ahead of him. So that could provide, he must be a fast player if he's a striker. So that'd be always good to have that extra addition. I'm sure he's played a few games in the Champions League for PSG, so he's got that bit of experience as well. It's all about adjusting to the Premier League if he does join. Yeah.
We've got a bit of breaking news, and it's not good for West Ham United. According to various sources, Matt Law and Jacob Steinberg are both currently reporting that Burnley have reached an agreement with Chelsea for fullback Ian Maatsen. However, the player is said to currently be reluctant to leave Chelsea for Burnley on deadline day. He feels that the move is not right for him. But as it stands currently, a deal has been agreed between Chelsea and Burnley for Ian Maatsen. Can they agree personal terms with the remaining hours left? It's not good news for West Ham with a deal agreed. You feel this could be the end of our interest for Chelsea wing-back Ian Maatsen, who coincidentally I was going to come on to next, Phil. So there we go.
Well, yeah, I know he was on loan at Burnley last season, so he's not like he doesn't know the club. He knows the players, he knows Vincent Kompany and how he likes to play. If that does go through, that'd be a good little addition for Burnley. It'd be good for him to get proper Premier League game time. And he's a player I wouldn't mind having because I know he's spent a good few years out in I think League One and the Championship, so he's getting game time. I think I wouldn't mind seeing him in the long term. He's definitely an upgrade on Creswell, and long term will be an upgrade on Emerson as well. So see what happens with there. But I'd like him to join, or if not now, maybe let him go out on loan again to Burnley, and then we can have him next season.
Yeah, I agree. Just a bit more breaking news as well, far more important. It has just been announced on deadline day that Andy Carroll has signed for Ligue 2, so that's League 2, French side Amiens. This is the first transfer for Andy Carroll in his long career that has been outside of England. Andy Carroll has signed for a Ligue 2 side, and they are called RC Amiens. So good luck to Andy Carroll in his next story in his career. Now that is an interesting one, for sure. You always get a few quirky deals go over the line on deadline day, and that is certainly one of them. That has made me smile. Let's take some of your comments and see what you guys are saying. Jake knocking back the Pernod and Black. This, I can guarantee you, this is summer fruit squash. I can guarantee you that. Let's have a look here. Michael says, has he got a chopper for short trips? I can guarantee that if Tim needs to get somewhere, he will get. If he needs to get to Paris, he will get to Paris sharpish. I can guarantee you of that. If there's enough time to get deals done now. So it seems like Maatsen's off the table. Kostic, just the other fullback that we've been linked with over the last couple of days. We'll come on to him in a second. But the issue of time is an interesting one now because it's 3:20 now. The window shuts at 11. We've got a game in the middle of that as well. So currently, if any player is going to sign now, Maatsen deal looks like it's going to be off. It is going to be Hugo Ekitike, but I just got a gut feeling now that we've left it a tad too late, Phil.
You never know. Crazy things have happened. Because I know, obviously, we know when it shuts, but they can always get paperwork which comes through at the very last second, and then they won't announce it until the morning. You get a lot of that with transfer deals, loan deals. So, yeah, it'd be just like what David Gold used to do when he used to do his Twitter's messages. Don't go to bed just yet.
DG. Yeah. I would love to see one of them from somebody tonight. X just in his memory, not putting on Patreon, just putting "Don't go to bed." DG tonight on Twitter. That would be a nice memory. A little bit more news on the Ian Maatsen deal. So Chelsea have agreed the deal, but an interesting strand of it as well is that there is an obligation. Which means they've got to pay it of £31.5 million for the Chelsea left back. It's not an option, it's an obligation. So at the end of that time, they have to pay that money and they have to have the player unless they do a little bit of nifty negotiations. It's a lot of money, Phil. And to be fair, I'd respect West Ham if we were in the same situation and they said, we want you to pay 30 million quid at the end of the loan spell, and we respectfully declined. I'd respect that. But whether we got that far, I don't know. But that is a lot of money.
It is a very lot of money. But, you know, everything, it's all inflation now and transfer fees. So 30 million, that probably don't seem like nothing nowadays. But if he does a good season, then it might be money well spent. But I don't know, is that, even if he plays let's say he plays 2 games for Burnley and then he gets injured for the rest of the season, are they still obliged to play that? I don't know. Because I don't know if it's going to be like the when we had Zaza on loan many years ago, and if he played a certain amount of games, we had to buy him out permanently. But luckily enough, he didn't play enough games and we got rid of him, sent him back to Juventus. I don't know if it works out the same like that. But if he goes there, it could be a very good bit of business if he has a great season.
Yeah, true. Thank you very much, James, for joining me. I hope you well. Do we know which Europa League away game our brainless numpties has us banned from yet? It will be confirmed at the very latest of tomorrow morning. We will know when we're playing where, and and what game we're going to be banned from. But yeah, not quite sure as of yet. Luke, for the 3 hours, hope you're well jet lag from Florida. Hope you had a good time, mate. And yeah, back on a busy day, that's for sure. We can return to the top of the league if we beat Luton tonight. It's in there.
Yeah.
Ekitike striker for the next 10 years, but 12 months at West Ham. Typical, wouldn't it? It would be typical. Can't believe Forest have signed Sinagre, very good player. You know, Brendan Johnson's come out the door and they've brought in this Sinagre geezer. Very, very good signing for them, I think. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Yes, if you haven't already, 65 people watching, and you can vote for it this year. It's Football Content Awards. What you need to do is click the link that I have just fired into the chat. Scroll down to the best shown content creator category. Type in West Ham unofficial. Scroll to the bottom, hit submit, and your vote will be lodged for me. And I'll be one step closer to lifting a Football Content Award, hopefully. So yeah, if you could do that, that would be greatly appreciated. It takes you not even 2 minutes to do, and it would mean the world to us here at West Ham unofficial. So yeah, Burnley's offer accepted for Maatsen, not good. Not good. Breaking news, fax machine has run out of paper. The shop is shut. It's done. It's done. Peter says, Jake regretting wearing his ties. He's struggling to breathe. No, I've done a lot of talking today, so I'm struggling. That's why I've got a drink here. I'm just struggling a little bit, but yeah, right. Next up, I want to move on to the Kostic deal, the Juventus left back, which was our second option coming into deadline day to sign as a fullback fill. Now, West Ham have continued to explore a deal for Philip Kostic, and we were sort of in a race against the clock this morning to reach an agreement, according to sources on Twitter, with Juventus. Kostic wanted the move as he was not in the Juventus manager's plans for the new season. Both sides were eager to get the deal done. West Ham wanted a loan with the option to buy, and Juventus wanted a permanent transfer to be wrapped up. We were told it could go down to the wire. We've now had an update, and it reads, principle in place that West Ham would move on should talks not progress this morning. West Ham still firmly holding discussions with Juventus over a deal for Kostic. Talks heading in the right direction. That's a respectable source on Twitter. The Juventus left-back, Kostic, who's not in the plans this season, he wants to move from Juventus. Talks are heading in the right direction, Phil.
Well, if they're in the right direction, then that could be good news. This is a player I believe we was linked with last summer, I think. Yeah. And then that's the reason why we got Emerson in, because Kostic went to Juventus.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know how much or how many games he played last season when he was there, but if he's not in their team, if they don't want to have him, then yeah, snap him up. Then he could be a really good addition. Yeah, I think it'd be good to get loan ones in.
There's been various sources saying different things, but there seems to be a common denominator with all sources have said that the player wants to leave the club and he's not in the manager's plans. That seems to be the clear message coming out from pretty much every source that's reported on this transfer rumour. And it seems like from a West Ham source, we are currently hearing that the deal and the talks are moving in a positive direction. But as we've mentioned, we're coming up to 3:30 now. We've got just over 7 hours left to get the deal done. We've got a game in the middle of it. There's a lot of congestion. There's a lot that's still got to be agreed here. We haven't agreed a deal. We haven't moved on to personal terms yet, which albeit shouldn't be an issue if the player wants to move. But there's still a lot of yards. There's still a lot of things that need to be done. Mark Noble's in Monaco today doing the Europa Conference League draw and being there as the West Ham representative. So Noble ain't doing nothing today. He's having a whale of a night in Monaco tonight. So it's down to Stein and Sullivan and whoever else is there. Because obviously Moyes in the matchday squad will be in Luton now, you'd like to think. So yeah, that deal, I think it's definitely one to keep an eye on. Hopefully, Kostic and Ekitike. Now, I did say Maatsen and Ekitike, but obviously that deal with Maatsen looks to be off the table with West Ham, with Burnley coming in now. So yeah, I keep ebbing and flowing, Phil. I'm just not sure whether anything's going to get done here or not.
Well, I said it to you before we went on here that I'm probably not going to expect much. But also crazy things have happened. So you might wake up tomorrow morning and we'll see who he brought in on loan. So it could be really going down to the wire. So I reckon now we spoke about the players in question, we might get one of them at least possibly come in.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Oh, there we go. The timer is, the countdown has returned to Sky Sports News. 7 hours, 33 minutes and 48 seconds remain of the summer deadline day and the summer transfer window for 2023, of course. Just to branch off from West Ham for a second, it's been crazy developments in terms of Mo Salah in the last hour, as Al Ittihad have had £150 million bid rejected for the Egyptian forward from Liverpool, and there's an expectation of Al Ittihad to come in with an improved offer of around £175 million for Mohamed Salah. The world and football is going crazy, and we haven't had a huge profile deal go to the wire in quite a few deadline days. I think this could be the one, Phil. Mo Salah to Saudi Arabia for over £150 million.
Well, it's a lot of money, as we know, and he's going to be an awful. I can't imagine how much he'd be on a week. Honestly, I mean, you got average players going out there for 750 grand a week, and this is a world-class footballer. Yeah, I know he's getting on a bit, but he's still right up there. I mean, the transfer fee alone is crazy enough as it is. I
think I heard somewhere £3 million a week.
No,
mental, isn't it? I can't believe it. It was in the millions. I saw somewhere. Somebody said it's over £1 million a week.
That's well. I mean, look, we all know, obviously, they're going there for the money. I mean, a player like Salah, you could argue somewhere the same like Ronaldo, really. They've sort of earned the right to go there. You know, they've done everything now. He's won a lot of stuff. He's had a great career. It's not like he's a youngster who wants to go out there just for the money. Everyone knows they're all going out there for the money anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And what else doesn't help is the Saudi Arabia transfer window closes on the 7th of September, so it's a whole week left.
Yeah, true.
But
doesn't the deal, because it's an English club involved, doesn't it have to be done tonight?
I believe so. So they can still buy players from us.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, that's because I remember back when the Chinese league was all the rage. I remember when it was our January transfer window finished, but their window was still sort of halfway into February, and one of the Chinese teams out there bought Nikita Jelavic off of us halfway through February when our transfer window already closed. So I'm assuming it'll be exactly the same. So they got a whole week of still buying all of our 30+ players.
Yeah, exactly. It's mental. I mean, a few more, well, I suppose you could say high-profile signings that have been made. Of course, Mateus Nunes has moved from Wolves to Manchester City. Sofian Amrabat is going to Manchester United. A loan fee has been agreed with Fiorentina for Amrabat, a defensive midfielder, to move to Manchester United. Southampton have signed Taylor Harwood-Bellis on loan for a season from Manchester City. Manchester United have signed a goalkeeper for just over £4 million, who I'm not going to pronounce the name of because I'll make myself look a little bit silly. Altay Bayindir. Chelsea have signed Cole Palmer for Man City for £42.5 million, putting him on a 7-year contract, which is again a financial fair play tactic from the West London side. Of course, Tottenham have signed Brennan Johnson for over £45 million as a striker or as just another player to add to their squad. And that pretty much rounds up the current situations with the big Premier League deals going through at the moment. And I think Salah to Saudi Arabia is the huge high profile deal that's currently being negotiated. And so who knows? Right, let's take some of your comments and see what you guys are saying. Are you going to the West Ham game tonight, Jake? Unfortunately not. I'll be here with the build-up show at 6:45 to discuss the lineups and any more transfer news if we do get it from that point on. Nottingham Forest to sign Nuno Tavares on a season-long loan from Arsenal with a 12 million option to buy. That's another interesting deal. No signings for us today. Same stuff every season. I've just got a feeling. Aston Villa have signed Clement Longley on a season-long loan from Barcelona. One would assume as a Tyrone Mings replacement after he got a long-term injury on the opening weekend of the season. That's a good signing for Aston Villa, I think. Very good.
Yeah, who's it? Ansu Fati's gone to Brighton on loan. So that's another big one.
Brighton, So there's still plenty going on today. I think in the last couple of transfer windows, even like overall in the Premier League, there just hasn't been a lot going on. But today seems to have a different feeling about it, and I think it's different for us as well because there's so much going on with the draw, with the game. On top of it as well, it just seems like a lot more is going on. But yeah, it is what it is. So those are all of the deals that have taken place today in the Premier League. Doyle has gone from Man City to Wolves, the youngster, on loan. So that is every single deal that's gone through today on deadline day involving a Premier League club. There we go. Good stuff. Right. Will we sign someone today? Fingers crossed. So where would Jake end up? Sky or TNT? No comment. Jay says, I've been looking on Sky Sports all day and nothing. Yeah, Sky Sports haven't really done much on us today. It's been more, our own sources, of course, have kept us more up to date on what has been going on. Sky does not know nothing. Sky does not know everything. Sorry, says Paul. They don't. They just report. And I mean, there's some really good sources out there. And at the moment in the West Ham front field, no one seems to be agreeing on one common denominator with anything. So I think at the moment nobody's got a clue, and it gives us a bit of a scrambled and maybe panicky boardroom at the moment.
Yeah, everything's all up in the air. I know it's quite interesting to see really what happens. It's like you always get these mad ones coming in the last minute. That's just like all the other clubs. You always hear the stories about certain players who go there, and they're like rushing to get paperwork come through. So yes, it's going to be right down to the wire. But it's nice to see a big deadline day again with big moves. You don't really get that much nowadays. Yeah,
for sure. Well, what on earth is talking about F1 on deadline day? I will never know on Sky Sports. But just a bit of an update from X. West Ham Central has put on Twitter, the club are still continuing talks with previously identified targets that we've reported numerous times. West Ham want to get one over the line at least, but there is obviously a race against time. So according to our main man and our top source at West Ham, there is still belief and there's still a desire to at least sign one player before the 11 o'clock deadline. That's a bit of confirmation that we all probably wanted, Phil, that there's still something going on in that boardroom.
Yeah, they're going to try and get something done, definitely. I mean, after the players that we was talking about, looks like the Maatsen one's not going to be happening now. So it could be Ekitike, it could be Kostic, who knows? Or it could be someone that we don't know about. It could be someone flying over from Brazil, as we know. Who knows?
Yeah. Exactly. There could be a surprise package of that. There could be a Steiden special coming over. Who knows? Right, let's take some of your comments. Peter says fans were running to the club shop to get Irving on the back of the shirts until they heard he was being loaned back to his current club. Very good. Very good. Hit that like button if you haven't already on the show. As you enter 81 people watching currently, smash that like button. Subscribe to West Ham Official if you haven't already. Your support is greatly appreciated. Our first match day vlog of the season went through 10k views this morning. That is great. Thank you very much for your support. That's our trademark here. Bring you as many vlogs as we can to give the insight to the fans, and that's what we're going to continue doing. So your support is greatly appreciated, and win me a football content and Will Bob's Junior as well. Especially on content creator, you can vote everywhere you can vote. Right. Peter says Liverpool should take it as they haven't. They've got a lot of forwards. Diaz.
Nunez.
I can't think of any now. Who?
Nunez.
Yeah, Diaz, Nunez, Jota. I can't think of any now, but they've got loads. I know they have.
Yeah. I do. You could. They have loads, but you just can't remember everyone now.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, we get your point, Peter. We get your point.
Yeah.
Ashley says, think they will have to pump some more oil if Salah is on £1 million plus a week. Gold tie is Jake joining Wolves fan TV in a free contract. I can confirm that on an undisclosed fee, I am remaining on West Ham Unofficial. I'm not going up to Wolves, that's for sure. But I thought I'd continue the deadline day theme. I put this very tight shirt on and this very tight tie. So I've done it for you. You right there. I've done it for you. Right. Yeah, exactly. Southampton will sign Downs on a permanent this summer. He ain't coming back to us. Southampton. The Telegraph reported in the last 15 minutes or so that Southampton are interested in signing or getting a loan deal for West Ham fullback. Who do you think it is, Phil?
Ben Johnson.
You are correct. Ben Johnson is a Southampton transfer deadline day target, according to the Telegraph. This makes sense, Phil. If that goes through tonight, that makes sense because he's just not good enough, in my opinion.
Nah, I mean, I liked him when he first got into the team, but I don't think he's really kicked on too much. I don't know if it didn't really help when he was playing in centre back, right back, left back last season because we weren't that good, and it probably exposed him a little bit. But I think a move would be good for him because he's never gone out on loan anywhere. He's only played for us, so. It's always good to go down to the Championship, and when you've got a team like Southampton just relegated from the Premier League, so they still got somewhat of a Premier League team, and a lot of youngsters as well. They've got a sort of good young team. They're doing okay at the moment, so that could be good for him, whether it's on loan or if it's permanent.
Yeah, exactly, exactly right. Just to sort of put transfer deadline day in a West Ham, in a West Ham ITK sort of era. This sums it up. We had a report from X a little bit earlier on saying West Ham are hopeful to sign at least one player today, but of course there is a race against time, so no sort of confirmation or guarantee. Sean, West Ham Football on Twitter, Sean Whetstone, he's got some very good sources, has just reported on Twitter that there's a 90% chance of nothing happening tonight for West Ham United. According to a top club source, he has said there's a 90% chance of no incomings in the football club tonight. It changes every 5 minutes. It changes every 5 minutes. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Drain Hot Hammer says, I'm hoping Salah doesn't go. Liverpool will be straight in for Bowen. Yeah, that doesn't concern me as much because deadline day. I just feel we'll just reject anything that comes in.
Yeah.
We're not at a stage where negotiations are going to be constant for weeks and weeks and weeks. We've got hours left, and that will never happen. I'd like to think so. I've just jinxed it then, haven't I? Yusuf and Nesri would have been nice. Yeah, that's gone quiet today. There's been not one mention of Yusuf and Nesri, who seem to be coming into the last week one of our two transfer striker targets, along with Hugo Ekitike. So maybe that one we've sort of put to the side and tried to focus on Ekitike. We'll have to wait and see. Unfortunately, not coming to the game tonight. Unfortunately, not. From afternoon, did I miss anything? Not really. The Maatsen deal was reportedly off because he's going to Burnley. X is saying there's maybe a chance. Sean is saying there's no chance. 10% chance. It's all going on. What is your ketchup every day? Ketchup every day. Razor West Ham says absolutely no chance Bowen going to Liverpool either. Danny and Dad wouldn't let him go there. Plus, he's happy in London, and Liverpool is no better than us, as already Chelsea and Forest shown. I'm in 100% agreement with that, Phil. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the same, really, just because of the family that he's in now. Really, they won't allow it, of course. But also, he's got two young children, and Danny's other child as well, who's he's supporting as well. So
yeah,
he probably don't want to up sticks and move. He's already settled in the club. I don't really see any reason for him to be going anywhere, especially Liverpool.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Just a couple more things that are coming through to us. A source on a Juventus side, a Juventus journalist has just reported that Kostic deal to West Ham is off. That is a source on the Juventus side of things. Whether that's got any truth to it, we will wait and see to have a West Ham source confirm that. But according to a Juventus source, Philip Kostic is currently very unlikely to become a West Ham United player, as is Jesse Lingard on deadline day. He will not sign for West Ham today, with the club insider saying, as things stand, he doesn't really look to be up so the fitness levels required. Lingard can still sign,
Good.
of course, after the deadline day is closed, because he's a free agent. He can sign anytime he likes, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But as things stand, Kostic is looking like a no, according to Juventus sources, and Lingard will not sign for West Ham today, despite training at West Ham United. Peter says, wasted trip to Brazil. How nuts was that? Very good, very good. Everybody having a little chat to each other. James says, Piccalilli, judging by the tie, Peter.
Or mango chutney.
No. I'll tell you what, I wore this tie to a prom. I'll tell you what, I do like it. And it's perfect for this situation. It's absolutely perfect. Mad Max says, I can't believe West Ham are playing at Backgarden FC tonight live on Sky Sports. I know. It's going to be mental. It's going to be different, that's for sure. I've got no idea what that language is in, but I assume it might say hello. Freshfield, but thank you very much indeed for
probably says good afternoon, I reckon.
You reckon? That's your guess?
Well, I know what buenos means, but tardes, I know you got buenos tardes and buenos dias and buenos noches. We have to look that one up.
Yeah, for sure. Right then. Lee says, not ideal to be playing Luton on the day of transfer window ends. Why did it not logically end on August the 31st? Yeah, I've said that, and a few people have said that. It's just a bit of an inconvenience, isn't it? Razor says, just get rid of Ings, Cornet, Cresswell, all lad, Ethel, to Moyes' dreadful system. Yeah, I mean, we all expected some outgoings, but yeah, and there's three there: Ings, Cornet, Cresswell. There's a couple of others as well that were expected sort of departures from West Ham, and not one of them's happened yet. There's no real talk of it happening, so maybe none of them are going, which is against the odds still.
I think they're the three players that you probably expect to be transfer listed. It's a shame with Cornet, because he's never really had a chance, especially after the injury.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't really know what happened with that one, because he was out for a long time. It was a bit of a mystery. And then when he came back, he was only coming on for like 3 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, I can see him leaving. Ings as well. Obviously, he said a few days ago that he wants to stay and fight for his place. Which any other time I thought, yeah, that's good. I like to hear that. But on the flip side, you know, he's probably on a big contract. He knows he's got European football, so it's not like he's not going to play. But I don't know. I could see Ings. I don't think he'll go within the next few hours, but you might see him go out on loan in January or leave permanently in the summer. And Cresswell, we know that he's going to be on his way out in the same period as well, January or the summer. So it'd be good to get, if we did get Kostic or Maatsen, if some miracle happens, one of them comes in, then it would be more likely for Cresswell to go.
Yeah, no, I agree. The constant flow of Manchester City youngsters leaving the club continues, and it feels like they're all going to Sheffield United. James McAtee has signed on loan for Sheffield United from Man City. They are certainly emptying their academy at the moment. Cole Palmer's gone, a couple of others. I think Arwa Bellis has gone on loan as well. So yeah, they are quite nifty with their buyback clauses and all that, Man City. But yeah, they're certainly letting a few youngsters go on deadline day. That is for sure. Yeah, I said that, Daniel. So who knows who to trust at the moment? Who knows who's telling the truth, who's lying? I don't think. The truth for the fact of the matter is, I don't think anybody has got a crystal clear idea of what's going on at the moment, because it must be changing instantly. I've got no idea what happens in a ballroom on deadline day. I've never been in one. I'm likely to never be in one. But it must be changing very, very frequently, very constantly. You know, moving on. If one deal's off, then right, okay, let's move on. You'd like to think we're being efficient about it, and if we're desperate to sign one or two today or tonight, going into tonight, then our current position and who we're looking at and our potential offers, they could be changing by the minute, Phil. So really, does anybody have a crystal clear idea? Probably not.
Well, if they got, I mean, it's different for when it's teams, especially in the lower leagues, they'd probably be more frantic, because they still got that mentality of how the Premier League would have been about 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember a few years ago when I watched the Sunderland Till I Die documentary on Netflix, and I remember they filmed it when they tried to sign Will Grigg, who they ended up signing, and it was literally seconds they got that deal done before it shut, and that was a January transfer window.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing another documentary which was from years and years ago. It was a Peterborough one from the 90s.
Yeah.
They had Barry Fry was their manager, and he was getting his deals done. There's always going to be, there will be some sort of frantic movement in boardrooms, but it's I can't imagine it'd be a nice place to be in, especially when they're trying to get deals coming in and out.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's have a look at Alison says, if no one comes in, then we have one place left on our 25-man Premier League squad. The number 11 shirt is available. That Lingard ball last time he was with us, just saying, it makes sense.
I was thinking that, really.
Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Lingard won't be signed today. We've confirmed that. Spurs offering 40 million for Gallagher. I don't understand that. They've got a decent midfield there, Spurs. That's a bit strange. Strange. Go on.
I was saying Spurs. I saw they might sell Højbjerg to Fulham.
Really?
Yeah, because I think Palhinha is going to Bayern Munich from Fulham, so Fulham might sign Højbjerg from them as a replacement. So that could be like a little sort of a recycled thing there.
Yeah, there's just a bit of breaking news on Sky Sports. I'm just trying to work out what it is. Right, okay, it's not West Ham. He said France, and I thought Ekitike, but no, nothing. Nothing in terms of West Ham. That poor woman tonight trying to watch Corrie and all the fans piling past her house. There you go, spot on. Buenos tardes means good afternoon.
Yes.
There you go. Good stuff. Moyes had perfect chance to try Ings on a 2 up front, but bottled it. He did. Lingard will sign next week. Yeah, we've heard probably before the Man City game. So what's that? Yeah, a couple of weeks time. It will probably be confirmed. Maybe the jet is on the way back. Maybe Tim has been in the air and he's now coming back with a player. Who knows? Fremma says, no reason signing someone just for the sake of it. I'd like a striker, but only because Antonio can't play all the tournaments. I agree with that. And we don't want to end up signing somebody for the sake of it. Phil, I'm going to leave you with that comment because I'm just going to go top up my drink because my throat is hurting. Phil, would you be happy with signing a panic buy, dare I say, or not? Over to you.
Depends on the sort of player that we're going to panic buy. I mean, if it is a striker, then that is good to help out Antonio, and depending if Ings is there or if he's injured, that's good. But I know, we've done it before. You buy someone for the sake of it, and it doesn't really fit any system, and you wonder what was the point of that. So it's good to have an extra body because remember, we have had, injury-prone players in the past, so it's always good to have that backup. But I don't know. It definitely depends on who we bring in and what position they're in.
For sure. I did hear you through there. I could hear you talking, Phil. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Very good. Yeah, I think there's a fine line between a panic buy and a thought after transfer. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next 7 hours or so. Brewski says we might not need Lingard because our midfield players are fantastic. Yeah, I agree. Gary says maybe we're saving money for the next manager. No more signings today, says Omar. Lee says Spurs have the Kane money burning a hole in their pocket. They'll try and sign him. I think that's to do with the Gallagher deal. Maybe. Gary says Moyes will not be here next season. Doesn't matter how well he does. I think he will be here next year. I do think he will. But of course, there's a lot of football to be played between now and then. So yeah, just waiting for some more news, and it seems like it's currently bad news for West Ham United. Go to bed. It's what we're hearing now. West Ham are no longer trying to sign Philip Kostic from Juventus. They have ended their interest in the fullback, is what we're hearing now from Sean Whetstone, an established West Ham source. Yeah, that's not fantastic, Phil.
Nah, well, a name has just popped into my head who could be so left field, especially or left back anyway. Cucurella.
I was thinking that, you know, we had interest in him a couple of seasons ago before he got his big money move to
Brighton,
Chelsea.
Chelsea, yeah, Chelsea.
But he just hasn't performed, and there's a reason they're trying to ship him out because he hasn't been great. I think this late on it would surprise me, but we do never know. It seems like we had about an hour between about 2 or 3 o'clock. There seems to be a bit of excitement, you know. Maybe Maatsen, maybe Kostic, maybe Ekitike. Ekitike's gone quiet. We've been struck off of Maatsen. The deal for Maatsen and the deal for Kostic now seems to be off. And now we're left with what we know as our only hope in Ekitike has gone quiet in the last hour or so. So, yeah, a little bit up and down, a little bit no idea what's going on. But with the current knowledge we have, there's an expectation of no signings at this moment of time, but that will change in 15 minutes.
Oh, yes. I mean, look, he could be on the plane, Ekitike, so you just have to wait until they land and they get a bit more signal. And then we might say, yeah, something is brewing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's not worry too much now.
Yeah, for sure. Lee says Luton has an airport. Hopefully, EasyJet there. We can get the contracts and medicals on the runway tonight. Could you imagine that? A bit of Premier League news coming from Fabrizio Romano is Bournemouth have reached a verbal agreement to sign Leeds United winger Luis Sinisterra. The deal is being finalised between the clubs, and the player has already accepted the deal. Understand it's a loan move for the winger, now set to travel down to Bournemouth for a medical to get the deal done before the deadline at 11 o'clock. It's an interesting one. Never really hit it up in that Leeds side. Obviously now relegated, and that's a bit of a blow you'd like to think for Leeds, but Bournemouth signing Luis Sinisterra by the looks of it, Phil.
Yeah, I don't know too much about him. I don't know how many games he played last season for Leeds, but if it's a route getting back into the Premier League, then yeah, you can go for it, really. Good luck to him.
Yeah.
And again, I think with loan deals as well, I'm assuming it's a lot easier to get across the line than if it was a permanent transfer for deadline days as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's they're Bournemouth. They're always trying to build a squad of younger players anyway. So it could work out for them. They play a certain way. No, they ain't really hit it off at the moment this season. They've had a bit of a sluggish start. But if he goes in there, settles in, it could be a good little deal for him. He might even sign permanently.
I agree. The Sky Sports cameras are currently at Luton. I can't hear what they're saying, but they are at Kenilworth Road, of course, where the game will be tonight. A bit more Premier League news. Fulham have given permission for João Palhinha to travel to Munich ahead of a move there. So maybe that's why Fulham are trying to get a midfield target in before the deadline, because it looks like at the moment João Palhinha is going to be moving and leaving Craven Cottage, which is a big blow, I think, for Fulham. But yeah, at the moment, in terms of West Ham, it's looking bleak. If you were, if we want to sign any players, it's a bit of a shame. We will end the show there because there seems to be overall on Twitter a just sort of sense of given up that we've given up. So we will leave the show there. Phil, just to round up, Maatsen's off, Kostic off, Ekitike, we haven't heard about it. And it seems like at this moment in time, we are hanging the boots up for this transfer window.
Great man once said, "Don't go to bed yet," and then nothing happened.
Nothing happens. So
nothing happens.
You never know. You do never know. That's the sort of hope we remain with deadline days. You do never know what will happen. There's pictures, of course, of Mo Salah now leaving his workplace in the Liverpool training grounds. So that's good, isn't it? But apparently Ekitike is going to Crystal Palace. I'm not sure about that one, but yeah. Not good, not fantastic. We had an opportunity, Phil, for the final push, for the final couple of players to really finish off a fantastic window, but it's almost ended in a bit of a whimper here, hasn't it?
Yeah, but let's not forget the players that we have brought in have been fantastic. So let's not be too downhearted if nothing does go through tonight. We still had a pretty good window considering how late we left it anyway, and with the players who left as well. So if we are lucky and do get one in, that's even brilliant. So let's just, our squad is good enough at the moment, I feel. If we do get one or even two in, that's even better.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. There you go. Thank you very much indeed, everybody, for watching. This is 2 out of the minimum 3 shows done for today. We're here on West Ham Unofficial. If you aren't sick of me yet, you certainly will be. Come 7:30 tonight after we finish the build-up show. So yeah, join me back here on West Ham Unofficial. I will not have this on. I can guarantee you that I've had a nightmare. I will have a West Ham shirt on, and we will build up to Luton versus West Ham with the lineups, with our final thoughts, and any transfer news if it comes into us. Phil, I will see you at 6:45. Until then, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Jake. See you in a couple of hours.
In a couple of hours, come on, you irons, and we'll see you soon, my head on West Ham Official. Don't go to bed unless you really want to. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.